It inspired me. And here's why, because it's the exact same thing. I remember when I left my old company, I left quietly. I didn't want to make a big stink. I was not trying to blast anybody or anything. And I believe because I was divinely inspired, it allowed me to be able to leave quietly and not have to make a ruckus and call people out on things, right? It really allowed me to be able to. And the crazy thing is that people who were not working from divine inspiration, they're the ones who caused a ruckus about me leaving. But that's a different story. It's a completely different story, right? And someone asked me, I thought it was I personally think it was gaslighting. I feel like that's going to be the new most overused word instead of toxic, is gaslighting. And they asked me, so now that you left, what do you see as your path in your future? And I was just kind of like ready to throw down, but I didn't. I stayed in my body, and my answer was, my mission and vision have not changed. They remain the same. That was actually why I left, because I felt that opportunity, the company and those products, and I'm not speaking bad on them. I still have major respect, and they put out great, amazing products. But especially the opportunity itself no longer met the needs, and it may never have in the first place, of the vision and the mission that I have and what I feel is my purpose and calling and what I am to do with the opportunity. It just plain and simply no longer fitted. And because of that, I knew that I would be okay. And furthermore, and foremost, if that's a word, that was never, I never grew up dreaming, oh, and this is the checkpoint. This is a checkpoint, right? I never grew up fantasizing about working one of these opportunities. That was never my dream, was to grow up and say I wanted to be a distributor, a rep for XYZ company. I'd never even heard of the company before. It was, I had heard of it, but I hadn't even heard of it until I was in my 30s, right? So this idea that question to me was gaslighting, because to me it screamed, it was almost as if she was telling me I wasn't going to be shit because I wasn't doing that company anymore. Flat out. And if you agree with me, you can say so in the comments, because that's what I felt when she asked me that question. So what you're trying to say is, without this company, I have no future? Are you trying to say without this opportunity, I am nothing? I have nothing? Because you're talking to the wrong person. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt and didn't go there. I don't think that is what she meant, but I'm going to tell you, that's what it felt like. And so I had to address it and answer it in that way. Like, in other words, I had a future before this opportunity. I had a vision, I had a purpose, I had a mission before this opportunity. And leaving this opportunity does not change that. I still have a vision, a mission, and a purpose. I am not lost. I am completely found now that I have left that opportunity, right? And I know that there is more out there for me. There is bigger, there is better, there is whatever it is. It could be smaller, but whatever it is, if it is for me, it will be, right? And I think that is the challenge that I have had in the past, and that's why I felt inspired to come on here and talk about this today, is that so often we feel, whether it's a job, it's an opportunity, whether it's a career path, whether it's a collegiate path, what you're going to major in, it could be a marriage, it could be a relationship. We often feel locked into those because we're so attached to one, the outcome, and to the person, the company, the product. And if we detach from that just enough to be able to really tap into it, what is our purpose? What are we here for? What are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to impact? What impact are we trying to create and leave behind? You will find that it is not tied to a person, a place, a company, a product. It is tied to what is inside of you. And that's why creativity is so important, because it releases that which is inside of you to make that impact, right? Think about Leonardo da Vinci. That's inspiration. right? Think about Barack Obama. That man works from inspiration, right? If one did it before, it can be done again. Exactly. And you'll do it faster. You'll do it better because you have that learning experience. And I've said this before, I'll say it a million times. I do not regret that company or that experience. I don't, because I learned a lot. And by the way, both good and bad, right? I'm not going to sit here and pretend like the company that I am partnered with now is perfect, because no company is perfect. No comp plan is perfect. No product is perfect. It's just not. If it was made or created by man, as much as we look at things and say, oh, perfection, at the end of the day, it is not. You can look at it. You can find a flaw. If you look hard enough with enough intent, you will find a flaw. You will, right? And although where I am today, the company that I'm partnered with today may not be perfect, it's better. And so even on my worst days, I bring myself back to the vision, back to the mission, and that is what I remember. It may not be perfect. It may not be perfect, but it's perfect for right now. It's better. It is aligned with the vision. It is aligned with the values. It is aligned with the mission. So here is where my feet are planted. Okay? And so whenever we find ourselves kind of wondering, is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? It goes back to the vision and the mission. And mind you, sometimes we got to do what we got to do. We got to be where we are for right now to be able to get to where it is that we are going. It may be part of the path, and that is okay. But while you are there, you still need to be able to tie your outcomes back to the vision, the mission, and the purpose. So what does that look and sound like, Tamira? Okay, that looks like for 2 years, I worked a job that I hated because I needed to work that job so that I could fund my life while I built my business. Okay, that's what it looks like, right? Its role, its purpose was not necessarily, in fact, it wasn't at all aligned with my personal vision and mission in terms of being there long range. It was there for a season to fund me so that I could breathe and be able to do what I needed to do. Okay? And it's crazy because I used to have so much shame around that job. I would barely talk about it, barely mention it, because it was just that I felt ashamed that I put myself out here that I wanted to start a business, and I was starting a business, but yet here I was not only working a job, it was a job that I hated. And the fact that it was a job actually is partly what made me hate it so much, because I just didn't want to be working a job. I felt like I was a failure. And a very good friend of mine, who was my quote unquote upline, said to me, Tamira, it's okay having a job. I mean, you got to eat. You got to do what you got to do. Nobody is looking bad upon you for working a job. And if they are, fuck them. They're not your people. That's not, you don't need that kind of energy in your life. Those weren't his exact words, but that in essence is what he said, right? Like, if they have a problem with that, them ain't your people. Don't worry about them, right? And so that's when I began the whole thing of, I am working 9 to 5. I give them their 9 to 5, and then from 5 to 9 is all about me and my dreams, right? And that in turn inspired me, opened everything up so that I could then see, okay, so how can I make the most of this? Okay, how can I make the most of this? So making the most of this looked like it turned into, okay, so since I'm missing out and I can't do all these things during the day, and by the time I get home, eat and take care of things, it's later in the evening, and I'm, trying to work my business, later when people here are asleep. So what do? Well, 6 hours from now, people are waking up in the UK. So I began to create posts and write captions in other marketing strategies to attract people from the United Kingdom. And the next thing you know, the orders started coming in for me to be able to create some money that way from my posts. And then it also turned into, I need to improve my blog. I need to improve my blog so that I can have quick and easy tools, so that when somebody reaches out to me and they have questions and I can't sit on a call with them during the middle of the day because I'm working this, and I'm not talking about the person that I worked for, but just, that term, this man's job, it turned into, okay, I can't sit with you and I can't talk to you right now, but here's a blog post that is going to answer 99% of your questions, right? And so I recreated myself in tools that could be there in my place when I couldn't attend to my business the way that I wanted to, because I'm a weirdo. When I do something, I put my all into it. When I do something, I throw everything into it. I become very passionate and very obsessed about it, which is why we're even having this talk in the first place, okay? Because for me, if I can't be all in like that, why am I even doing it? Okay, so speaking of inspiration, I didn't even have a look planned for today, so I guess I'm going to see what this, what is this, in the head in the clouds or whatever palette does. Okay, so, and that's what I mean. When you are attached to your vision, you figure out how to make things work your way. When you know what your vision, your mission, your purpose are, you can make just about anything work, because you're gonna figure it out. You're gonna figure it out. It's just gonna naturally come to you, but you gotta be open to it. And when you, and I see this with people who work with coaches as well. They're so caught up on, well, so-and-so said this, and they said it, that, it happens this, and this way. And the numbers look like this, and this. And then when they're doing exactly what so-and-so said from here to here to here to here, and they're not getting the same numbers wrong, they think something's wrong with them. They think they're not working hard enough. They're thinking that they're doing something wrong. And the issue is they haven't examined that process, what so-and-so gave them, and put it up against the ultimate measuring stick, which is their value, their missions, and their goals. Is this going to help you achieve your vision and your mission? If not, why are you doing it? Or why are you doing it in that way? If it doesn't feel right to you, why are you doing it? Okay? And that's my biggest pet peeve with this industry, is seeing people do this time and time again, where they are executing someone else's vision without examining it against their own vision, mission, and values, and then implementing based upon that, taking from it what they need and leaving the rest. But they're so attached to, this person is the Holy Land, this person is my savior, this person has all the answers, instead of developing themselves to be able to know what they should do. Right? And working with a coach can be self-development. I have to have a coach, because there's a lot bouncing around in this brain all the time. But I also know how to take and modify, and when things look a little different than the outcomes that coach may have had, because that's all coaching is you're packaging and systemizing your own internal processes, systems, and methods, right, and results, and then you package it and you sell it. I do it, and I'm not going to stop doing it. But I always give people that grace. I always give them that leeway to understand this is what worked for me. Now it is up to you, that if you think that it is not going to work for you, number one, you got to prove it to me. And the way that you prove it to me is you go out and you implement it. You execute on what I've given you. And if it's not working, you bring it back to me. I'm not going to berate you and tell you you suck because you're not getting the results that I got. We're going to work together to figure out what needs to happen to make it work for you, and what does it working for you look like in the first place, right? And that's why a lot of people struggle with coaches and getting results, because they think their end result is supposed to look exactly like the coaches. Well, no. For example, in my social selling company, my objective is to get to the top and take as many people with me. And to get there, I can't have a bunch of people who look, sound, and act just like me. And so that may mean that if you were at all interested in joining me in what it is that I do, it does not mean that you have to have that same goal, right? You just have to be committed to bettering yourself and your family's situation. And so if $300 a month, $100 a month is what is there for you, then that's fine. That's fine. Now, does that mean that I won't ever still try to get you to see bigger? Absolutely. But if you really think that $100 a month is all that there is for you, and you're getting that, that's fine. I'm gonna love you where you're at. That's fine, right? But a lot of people, basically, it's like, if you only live your life so that you are pleasing your parents and doing what your parents in society say you should be doing, at some point you're going to go through a life crisis. Why? Because you have no fulfillment. Why are you not fulfilled? Because you're living your life to meet everyone else's expectations and to please everyone but you. And it's the exact same thing when you're in social selling. When you're building your business to please everyone but you, your upline, your mentor, the company owner. That's how people end up getting used and abused. And I've seen it way too much. What did I just do here? So what I love about this pencil, it really allows you to get precision, and you can clean up and fix almost anything, right? And so that's where that gap exists, because people are taking what everyone else says, and it doesn't even have to be everyone. It can be a coach, a mentor. And they're taking what this person says as it's got to be this way. I got to do it exactly as so-and-so said it. Well, yeah, but what about you? How does it feel to you when you do that, right? They told me for years, worry about the people in your own backyard. Don't worry about building online. Worry about the people in your own backyard. I knew for me, that was not the way to build. And guess what? Everybody who said that to me, guess what they had to do in 2020? Guess what they had to do? They had to learn how to do it online. And they had to come to people like me who already knew and had been doing it. Systems that I said should have been set up as early back as 2015. Actually 2014, because I got a phone call because somebody dry snitched because I wouldn't do something for them for free. Right? But I held to what I knew to be true. I held to it. I held to what I chose to know and believe, and here we are. living in the reality that I said we would be living in. See how that works? You got to tap into your own magic. You're magic, girl. You are pure magic. And when you understand that and you develop that magic, life gets really good. It becomes less complicated. You don't have all those voices in your head telling you you're wrong, you're bad, you need to do it this way, right? When you look at the people, the Bill Gates, no, I don't really even like using him as an example. When you look at the Steve Jobs, when you look at even on the internet, some of these people that are killing it in things like e-commerce, they did it their way. And that was always my thing. I'm doing this my way because it's my life. After I freed myself from the bondage of corporate America, I did not again trade one dictator for another. I did. And I'm not going to. Now or ever in the future. It's just not going to happen. Okay? So now that we are clear on that, let's go ahead and get this look finished up for the day. I'd love to hear from you and what your thoughts and experiences are similar to this. You know, how do you stay inspired? I know I've got a blog post out there about how to keep going when you don't feel inspired. For me, a lot of it, like my number one source of inspiration, in all honesty, is my old work, because I know that it was inspired. I know that it was inspired. So if I'm feeling low on inspiration, one of the things I do is I go back and I take a stroll down my newsfeed. I take a stroll down my Facebook. I look through old images. I watch some of my old videos, read old blog posts. And it inspires me, number one, because my work ethic in the way that I put things together, where other people would do 25% of what I did, right? And I always tend to go the extra mile. I tend to put extra into it. Just mascara and liner, I promise you, every time. It just lights me up, right? Doing my makeup, right? If I'm not feeling inspired, self-care. I run to self-care. Self-care, you know, it can be a long hot shower. It can be a bath. Sometimes I, you know, put flower petals in the bath, put essential oils in the bath, have candles burning, you know, meditating, you know, is another one. Doing my self-care routine, doing my makeup and seeing how good I actually am in my own face. Remember, I don't like doing other people's faces, right? But whatever it is I do, I'm going to do it my way. And we can't be out here selling people on opportunities and not giving them room and freedom to be themselves, and that includes failing. I have 15 minutes. That includes failing, right? That includes failing. Really, so that this balances out. I don't know what I did over here, but it looks a little different. And I don't have a lot of time right now. I don't have a lot of time. So, you just got to stay inspired. And if you haven't caught on, the number one way I stay inspired, aside from looking at my own content, is self-development. This one is one where I'm lucky because I got to see it firsthand. My grandparents were always reading books on personal development. My parents were, and would give me books on personal development. So it comes naturally to me, right? It comes really, really naturally to me to be dedicated to developing myself. But I have this on my list of videos to do and talk about, but we'll talk about it a little bit here right now. A lot of people get skill development, job development confused with actual self-development, personal development. They are not one and the same. I hate to break it to you. They are not one and the same. Self-development, personal development is working through the traumas. It's healing oneself. It's, for me, forgiveness is a huge one, right? Learning to forgive. It's doing that shadow work, that behind the scenes work, that mindset work that's going to set you apart, right? And one of the things that I see very, very often is moms not showing themselves grace and mercy, first of all, not holding other people accountable in their life so that they can still get their personal development on. Okay? And I do want to say, going back to allowing people to enter the industry, your team, company, and products without, and allowing them to be able to do it their way and fail. Don't get me wrong. When I say I do it my way, and I did it my way, I did. But I'm not a dummy either. There were still things that I was smart enough to recognize that I needed to do. Okay? So I didn't just throw the whole thing away and come up with my own thing. That would be stupid. I took what was there, learned from it, and applied it, and just made it my own, I guess I should say, is probably a better way of saying it. And doing it my way. My way was taking what was a system that was already created and recreating it online. My philosophy was, if it can be done, like Roz said earlier, if it could be done offline, it could be done online. Okay? Whatever you could do online, you could do offline, and vice versa. Okay? And so, I don't have a lot of time here, but it's like, people always say in network marketing, you don't need sales funnels. Well, what is a hotel meeting? Because that's really all it is. It's a system. It's a funnel, right? And a sales funnel online is just using automation and apps and technology to recreate what is done offline. Okay? So, what we're gonna do with this lip? What we're gonna do with this lip? Looks like we're going to do Midnight Plum. Because that's what I could find. That's what was in front of me. And it actually goes very well with this look. So the whole point of this video is you have to know who you are, okay? You must know who you are, because it's very easy to get lost in the shuffle, to get lost in the hype when you don't. If you don't know who you are, you make yourself very easy prey for other people, bad situations, so on and so forth, right? You have to know who you are. And that's what it means to know your vision, your mission, your purpose. Why are you here? Right? Why are you here? I don't care who's doing it. I don't care who said it. If it deviates from who I am and why I am here, I'm not doing it. And I don't care who don't like it. It's not their call. It's mine. Okay? You have to know who you are and why you are here. Otherwise, you easy prey. And that's what's happening to a lot of people. You got to stop. You got to question. I believe in questioning everything. And I also believe in testing everything. You got to examine it. You got to look through it. And if it's not worth me examining, it's not worth renting space in my head. It's just not. If I don't have the time, the desire to examine it, then it's just, that wasn't that ain't on my program right now. I'm not worried about it. Okay. So anywho, somehow I managed to get my face done during all of this, and I actually like it. It's cute. So I'm gonna go now because I gotta hop on a Zoom. I got 2 Zooms back to back, and I gotta figure out when I'm gonna eat in between all of that. In the meantime, in between time, I thank you for watching. Please feel free, visit my blogs, labelladonnalife.com and tamirahamilton.com for more. I am hosting a product overview tomorrow. I'm going to go through all of the products and tell you why they're amazing and why I love them. I'm also going to tell you the ones that I don't necessarily love, but that you still may want to try them and test them, because that's just my one experience. Okay. And then on Thursday, I'm actually doing a compensation plan overview. So you are definitely invited to join me for both of those. Just DM me. You can DM me on this page. You can DM me on my personal page. You can email me, or you can go to the blog, visit the blog and click contact. And I do get a message when you message me from there. It actually sends you over to Facebook Messenger to message me. So thanks so much for coming to my TED Talk, for my little self-therapy session. I appreciate you. And I will go and talk to y'all later. Bye.